Conference and friends, given that I'm all that stands between you and the tea room, I shall be unusually brief. The fact that the Labour Party has had a very long and close history of involvement with India, with the Congress Party, with the Nehru family is, I think, significant in that I, as the Vice Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Labour Party, my colleague Mike Watson, one of the leading young members of the Labour Party in Parliament, that the Labour MP Max Madden, whose letter was read out to you today, that the leading Labour figure Mohammed Ajib from Bradford is here today, that I can bring you fraternal greetings from Gerald Kaufman, the Labour Party Shadow Foreign Secretary, is, I think, significant. The message to India should be clear. Your conduct of the occupation of Kashmir, the brutality and the criminality of the behavior of your armed forces is undermining and subverting all the things about you that made us your friends in the past. I was taken by a quotation on page 33 of Kashmir Needs World Attention, distributed just a few minutes ago. A quotation from Mr. Nehru on November 2, 1947, when he said, and I quote, "We declare that the decision regarding Kashmir shall be made by its people. Neither can we revoke the pledge, nor shall we revoke it." So we say, from the British Labour Party to the successors to Mr. Nehru, both in the Indian Congress Party and in the minority government now in Delhi, that is a pledge made by Nehru. That is a pledge which should be kept. Kashmir has the right to exercise its self-determination, and India's brutal denial of that right does not. As we speak, a whole armada of 500,000 soldiers, 6 aircraft carriers, the naval fleets of 12 nations, the armed forces of 30 countries, massed in Saudi Arabia and in the Arabian Gulf. The UN Security Council has been in virtually permanent session since August the 2nd of this year. The most comprehensive level of economic sanctions and the most tight blockade has been imposed upon the Republic of Iraq by the international community. What can it be that has moved the international community to such extraordinary levels in the Arabian Gulf, yet leaves them completely unmoved by the plight of the people of Kashmir? What can it be which has led the international community to throw a shroud of silence over the denial of the national rights of the Palestinian people for more than 4 decades? Yet it's the move so heaven and earth to redress the injustice committed in the Gulf. I wonder if it's anything to do with that dirtiest of 3-letter words, oil. I wonder if it's anything to do with the self-interest of the big powers. I wonder if it's anything to do with the depths of their hypocrisy so far as international relations. The United Nations, in its charter, in these ringing words, declares all peoples have the right to determine without external interference, their political status, and to pursue their economic, social and cultural development. And every state has the duty to respect this right. Well, are the Kashmiris not a people with a common culture, a common language, a common history, a common experience which leads them to develop bonds of nationhood? Are the Kashmiris not a nation? Have they no national rights? And if they do, when will the international community stand up and say they must have the right? And let us be clear on this question also. Self-determination is not about a people having the right to give only an answer. Self-determination means also that the people must have the right to frame the question as well as give the answer. Self-determination is not about my insisting that you choose A or B. It's not about my asking you whether you want to be in the frying pan or in the fire. The devil or the deep blue sea. It's about my giving you the right to choose the questions and the answers. And that is to say that the international community must put no limits on the Kashmiris' right to exercise under the United Nations Charter their right to choose their destination. Independence, autonomy, India or Pakistan, condominium status, any kind of relationship. Theirs to choose, but they must have the right to choose it. The tea room beckons. I want to close by saying this. All over the world, there are small peoples yearning to be free. I myself and my colleague also, Mike Watson, are Scottish. We are demanding our rights to remain inside the British state, in our case, as is our choice, but with substantial autonomy and a substantial change to our relationship to England. There are peoples like the Scots, like the Kashmiris, all over the world, who live next to large, sometimes overbearing neighbours, who must have that right to self-define themselves and to define their relationship to those neighbours. It is vitally important that there is a unity across the world amongst all small peoples yearning to exercise that self-determination. And if I may, the chair, not his fault, misannounced me at the beginning. I was awarded the Hilal-e-Qaid Azad in last year for services not to Pakistan in the abstract, but for services to the struggle for the restoration of democracy in Pakistan. So as I am the holder of the award, Hilal-e-Qaid Azam, I guess that gives me the right to quote that great sage's words on unity, faith and discipline. He said, "We are going through fire. The sunshine has yet to come. But I have no doubt that with unity, faith and discipline, we will compare with any nation of the world. Are you prepared to undergo the fire? You must make up your mind now. We must sink individualism and petty jealousies and make up our minds to serve the people with honesty and faithfulness. We are passing through a period of fear, danger and menace. We must have faith, unity and discipline." Great words that could have been written about the current stage of the struggle of the people of Kashmir. But not the least of those important words is the word unity and the word discipline. And I agreed with the contribution made by our friend from the United States on this question earlier. Unity is the principle of the labour movement, and from its cradle, the British labour movement, that unity is strength. If unity is strength, disunity is disaster, and indiscipline compounds that disaster. Insofar as it's open to me to extend a fraternal hand to you and to offer some advice, if I may be so bold with that, it is that discipline and unity are key elements, along with the courage which the Kashmiri people are showing in large measure now.